Welcome to Edinburgh, probably the most stimulating city that I've been to, and I really love it here. Having a few days up here with my older two children, and it's really good. So going to walk up one of these wines or closes and have a natter on Wednesday, 1st December 2021. We've just come up Barry's Close. B-A-R-R-I-E-S. So we came up on Monday, train up from Cheshire, and had been touch and go whether this trip would happen. And when we arrived in Edinburgh at about 12:30 on Monday, walked up to the Scott Monument and sorted out our luggage. We had a couple hours or so to kill before we could check into our accommodation. Walk up the Mound to see the Christmas tree from Borderland, Norway. Really magnificent specimen, and some shapes laid out in fluorescent rope, which I'm going to go and have a see now, and the Christmas tree. Wander up to the yard just in front of the castle forecourt area. Heart of Midlothian there. Wandered down the Royal Mile in quest of food. So we ended up in Pizza Hut, their buffet. And then we were able to go and check in. We all tend to have varying energy levels, so retired to our apartment, went and checked in. It was really nice. And a bit of a nap. Then went up again the Royal Mile to enjoy the nighttime ambience. Looking out across the city, the castle uplit. Had a lot of fun in front of the camera Obscura, like several floors of optical illusions and fun. Really do recommend it if you get the chance. God knows what people might have thought as we were larking around outside with the mirrors and enjoying the distortions. Very cool. Then went down to the City Cafe for some beverages, a couple of coffees, and a very good milkshake that wasn't just a milkshake. No ordinary milkshake. And then we went on the Old Reekie tour. Now, I've done most of the tours here in Edinburgh over the years. I used to do my own ghost tours and historic tours, and I had so many recommendations from customers that you really ought to go to Edinburgh and do some of their tours. So that's why I first discovered Edinburgh. Now, I've just paused because the Christmas tree is not lit up at the moment, so I'm going to have to do that this evening. And neither are the geometric shape, so I'm going to change my plans. The Christmas tree is not lit up. As I was saying, we went to do the Old Reekie Tours Terror Tour, which started up the Royal Mile, 300 Lawn Market. A little walk down the Royal Mile around the exterior is St Giles, one of the closes and wines, filling in some of the social history, the development of Edinburgh. Basically, how we arrive at a city with lots of tall buildings, narrow passages, closes, wines, and so on. Then to the Old Reekie Tours premises on Nidri Street, up into their medieval torture equipment dungeon, which is an interesting, albeit somewhat disturbing place, but yes, it is sort of perversely, bizarrely fascinating. And then into their section of what they have of the South Bridge vaults, which are amazing. I've done that tour 3 times now, and the ambience and atmosphere is just so worth going into. They give some history as to how the vaults were discovered, and then a bit of history about those specific vaults and the discovery of alleged evil demonic forces and ghosts which frequent down there. Now, it is very atmospheric, and as the guide pointed out, if it wasn't haunted, it's the kind of place that you feel ought to be haunted, and the big challenge of that tour is the stone circle, inside which allegedly is trapped a demon, and a number of people that go inside it end up being attacked and assaulted with scratches and bites and perhaps unfortunate circumstances that affect them. And in our group, quite a few people did go inside. I don't know if anybody had anything happen. My children here with me both stepped inside. As far as we know, we haven't had anything happen with them. But on the first night in our accommodation, I did hear some very soft footsteps a couple of times, thinking it was one of my children going to a loo in the night, and nobody did. So I'm trusting it as somebody else, perhaps in the flat above. We then retired to our accommodation for the night and stayed up to about 1:30, which is about 3 hours past my usual bedtime. So not only just being wired because of being in Edinburgh and overstimulated and having done a really, really good ghost tour, it was like 1:30 before I got to bed. So that rather impacted us upon Tuesday. Also need to add that one of the things you have to do as a Mike Oldfield fan is to come up to the forecourt in front of the castle and listen to Tubular Bells 2, because Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells 2 had its world premiere concert right here. And it's a bit of a sacred ground for a Mike Oldfield fan, so you have to do that pilgrimage, you have to do your sort of act of worship, expressing worth. That's what worship is, worship expresses worth.